The WINONA Sports Network welcomes you to Thunder Talk. Thanks to Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Get all the dirt from Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Direct from Dan Bailey.
Hey, race fans. Welcome to another edition of Thunder Talk on the WINONA Sports Network, 99.3 FM, and streaming online at WINONARadio.com. I'm Dan Bailey. This is episode 346 of Thunder Talk, and it's a bit of a special episode because we are welcoming back to Mississippi Thunder Speedway the DirtKings Late Model Touring Series. They make a couple of trips to Mississippi Thunder Speedway each year, and we're pleased to have them back for the Rumble by the River 40, presented by Herco and Stone Machinery. So we would love to see you at Mississippi Thunder Speedway for a full program of green flag action. Not only our regular USRA weekly divisions, you know, the modifieds, the USRA late models, the USRA stock cars, the USRA B-mods, and the USRA hobby stocks, but of course, the reintroduction for the second time this year of the DirtKings Late Model Touring Series. And I would like to welcome to this week's edition of Thunder Talk a gentleman who's sitting pretty in the 2024 championship point standings with the Wabam DirtKings Late Model Touring Series. That's Lukas Postl. Lukas, first of all, welcome to this week's edition of Thunder Talk.
Hi, Dan. How are we doing?
We are doing great, and I think we are all excited every time we get to see open late model racing at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. You know, we have our regular USRA late models, but they're kind of dialed back a little bit, so we always get amped up and excited when we can welcome back the quote-unquote open late models. You know, we have the World of Outlaws come early in the year. We have the DirtKings come a couple of times every year. So it's going to be an exciting night, and I would assume that you are looking forward to this evening's event because, as I mentioned already, you're looking pretty good in the 2024 point standings. In the top five, currently fourth, coming into this evening's Rumble by the River 40. Has it been one of those seasons for you, at least on the DirtKings Tour, where things are just clicking for you and the season is progressing along nicely for you?
I would say yes. It's always nice getting back to Mississippi Thunder. You know, I always talk with the crew guys saying, I wish this track was closer. You know, it's such a nice facility, a nice racing surface, and it's just, we wish we were able to race here more often.
You know, that is something that's important to mention. The DirtKings Tour, primarily an eastern Wisconsin sort of a tour. You guys focus a lot on the tracks over there, get down into Illinois a little bit, and every once in a while you guys kind of make that long haul west to join us here on the either the west end of the state or even sneak over into Minnesota. So is there, as a driver, is there a difference between east and west tracks? Is the soil different from eastern Wisconsin to western Wisconsin?
Yeah. You know, over here on the eastern part of the state, the tracks are real dirty and sandy. Mm-hmm. You know, when you get closer over to the western part of the state, you know, especially to the north, you can see more of that red clay. Yep. And then towards the south with you guys and Deer Creek, it's more of that dark black clay. Mm-hmm. And they all race a little different.
What about track configurations? I remember talking with Brad Miller a couple of years ago, and he said it seemed like the east side of Wisconsin, for one reason or another, tends to be a little bit flatter in their in their corners, where the west end seems to be a little more aggressive, higher banking. Would you agree with that?
I would totally agree with that. You know, it's definitely more banking on the western part of the state.
Is there a track configuration that you think suits your driving style better, or is there one that you just enjoy more? Do you like more banking? Do you like it flatter? Do you like long half miles? Do you like short quarter-mile bull rings? What's the perfect track for Lukas Postl?
I like the 3As and third mile tracks. You know, I like tracks that you're able to get up on the wheel at. Mm-hmm. Shawano, we race here weekly, and it's a half mile track, and straightaways just get a little too long. It seems, if you make a mistake in one corner, you got a little longer, too long to think about it before you get to the next one. Where the shorter tracks, you just react, and there's not much thinking involved.
So you mentioned that you're basically a weekly competitor at Shawano. Is that what you would consider your quote-unquote home track when you're not out on a tour? Is that where you compete regularly?
Yes, that's considered our home track. I mean, we live about 10 minutes from the racetrack, so sometimes it's a little hard to travel all the way across the state to another race when you got one right in your backyard.
Yeah, I can understand that. So let's reintroduce you to the racing world, especially those fans from over here in the Mississippi Thunder Speedway area of Wisconsin. Tell us your background, how you got started in motorsports, how you got to the point where you are now.
So starting off, I kind of grew up around the late model world. Mm-hmm. My dad helped a racer named MJ McBride.
Oh, sure.
For about 35 years, you know, pretty much when he started till when he ended. So I grew up around in the shop with him, and as a child I was started in go-karts, and then from there I went to it's like a wing sprint kart that they race a little bit over here. I think they do a little bit on the western part of the state.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I took a few years off from racing and helped another fellow Dirt King member, Brett Swedberg, on his race car for 3-4 years. And then his car owner, Slaska, approached me one night asking if I would be interested in getting in his backup car. And since I got in there, I haven't gotten back out.
You mentioned a couple of names there that people who are in the racing world recognize, MJ McBride and Brett Swedberg. When you were either hanging out or working with those drivers, was there, you know, a non-stop knowledge transfer? Were you trying to be the human sponge and just soak up as much information as you could? Or were you just enjoying the moment and doing whatever they asked of you?
You know, I would say with MJ, it was more of enjoying the moment. I mean, when I was helping him, I was a small child until he retired, and, you know, it was just enjoying the moment with him and with going racing with my dad on the weekends. And with that, it was just experience and learn the sport of it. And when I started helping Brad, it was more of a sponge, just hoping one day I was able to get my own car.
So in the 2024 standings with the Wabam DirtKings Late Model Touring Series, as I mentioned, currently 7 races into the 2024 season. You're sitting 4th, which is a good position to be in. You know, last year you finished just outside the top 10. If we go back 2 years to the 2022 season, you finished 4th, ironically enough, in the point standings, so that was a good year. If we go back to 2021, you were 10th in the final point standings. Kind of like an up and down wave of your success with the Dirt Kings. Were there different things about each of those years that affected the point standings and your run in the Dirt Kings those years?
I would say the 2021 season, I was just becoming comfortable in the race car because it was still earlier in my racing career. And then the following year where we finished 4th, I felt comfortable in the car and things were starting to click. And then 2023 we got a new race car, and it was basically a full year of learning the car and figuring out what it needed, getting the balance. And this year we got on the right track with suspension parts and just the technology that racing has come today, where the car is more balanced and I can feel comfortable where I want to drive it.
In the years past, you know, looking at the standings, they've averaged about, you know, anywhere from 12 to 15 races for the Dirt Kings Tour. When you as a driver are looking at a tour to follow, is there a magic number that just makes that series fit the best with someone who's also trying to be a regular at a weekly class? You know, I said we're 7 races into this year's season. I think there have been a couple of rainouts. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. You know, is that kind of 12 to 15 number? Is that the right number in your mindset?
Yeah, I would say that's a good number.
Yeah.
You know, we've had some rainouts this year, and we've had a few tracks on the eastern part of the state that have scheduled against Dirt Kings. So we've lost some competitors with that. You know, they chose to go to those races over the Dirt King stuff.
And I do want to give you an opportunity to let us know who's helping you get that number 5 to the racetrack each and every week, whether it's a Tour Series event or a regular weekly event at Shawano. What sort of sponsors are you representing on race night with that number 5?
The main sponsor on the car is Hydraulic Repair Specialist. We have Charlie's Tony Market, Lighthouse Bar and Grill, Pop Electrics, Subert Calf Wrenches, 715 Graphics, Northwood Fire, Twin Lake Pines. There's so many of them I can't list, and you know, I can't make all this work without my crew guys. I have my dad, my uncle Brian, and my 2 best friends, Lee and Dylan. Without those guys, our program wouldn't be able where we're at without them.
Is that one of those situations where when it's race night, it's all hands on deck? Everybody, you know, as you just mentioned, family and friends, they all kind of jump in and help you out?
Yep. You know, race night, they're here at the shop, and you know, if something happens on race night and it's an all-week ordeal, them guys are right here alongside me getting the car ready for the next race.
So before I let you run through your list of sponsors there, I kind of, presented the next question that I wanted to talk about. And again, I'm not looking for, I'm not trying to start any controversy. I'm just kind of curious about your thoughts as a driver of an open late model. What are your thoughts about the current status of late model racing, whether it is, here in the upper Midwest, in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, or nationwide? What do you think the health level is of the sport? What do you like about it?
I mean, with everything they have with the broadcast, with the Flow and the Dirt Vision and all the streaming apps now, so you're able to watch a lot of races with just racing, but for the most part, I mean, a little bit, I would say the price of things is getting a little out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's expensive to put these on the track, and for a smaller team like myself, sometimes it gets to the point of, can we get another night out of this right rear tire, or is it time to bolt another new one on? And the shock stuff, there's so much technology and going in and out of things. It's hard a little bit to be able to do it on your own anymore without being able to have people in your corner that you're able to call and talk to and talk setup, and just being able to get on the national level with things of what, the major manufacturers are running. And
slightly related to that topic and that question, how do you feel the WBAM DirtKings Touring Series is fitting into the whole world of late models, whether it's traveling series, big name series, local series, Wasota series, etc.? I mean, it seems like the Schultz have put together a really good program that allows you late model racers to enjoy that quote-unquote touring series, mystique when you visit these different tracks, without, I think, making it a little too ridiculous and expecting you to travel in North Carolina and California and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Jason and Sandy Schultz have done an amazing job with BAM DirtKings. When they put this whole deal together, it was at a point around the eastern side of the state where there weren't very many places racing late models. Mm-hmm. It gave us drivers somewhere to go and race. And what they've done for the drivers around here, hands down, the best series that I've raced. And comparing to the national stuff, they're getting a good brand out there, and I feel like the races that we put on are good races to go and watch and to televise, and everything that the series is about. It's a family-oriented series, and it's just a lot of the drivers are, if you need help, they're there to help each other.
That's a great point about not only the DirtKings Tour, but I think kind of the racing community in general, especially up here in the upper Midwest. You guys will battle each other tooth and nail when you're on the track, but you get back to the pits and it's almost like, how can we help each other, right? That's a great position to be in. You had characterized your own team as, I think you said, a smaller team. You called yourself a smaller team. And yet here we are 7 races into the DirtKings Tour, which is, as you also mentioned, a very competitive series. Some great racers. You've got a top 5, you've got a couple of top 10s. You're sitting in the top 5 in point standings. So what sort of finish to this 2024 season would keep a smile on your face? I know that as a racer, you would love a championship. Everyone wants a championship. But what sort of finish in the point standings would make you satisfied with your run with the DirtKings specifically?
Just for me, it's finishing in the top 5 in points with them. There's a lot of good drivers in this series, and to be able to finish in the top 5 with them would definitely make us happy. Definitely boost our confidence again going into next year.
Well, making the long trip west to race at Mississippi Thunder Speedway, what are your hopes about conquering this big third mile here? Do you feel like you're ready for it?
Yeah, we've got a few things in the shop that we gotta straighten up from this past weekend to get us in the right direction, but definitely hoping for a good showing out there. We've struggled a little bit in the past. We've had some good runs out there. It's just it's a matter of just the timing of things too. Hopefully everything goes our way and we're able to qualify good and start up front and hopefully finish up there.
Well, Lucas, I appreciate you taking some time to chat with us on this week's edition of Thunder Talk. We will be looking for your number 5 on the high banks at the big third mile at Mississippi Thunder Speedway during the Rumble by the River 40. Again, thank you very much for joining us this week.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Hey, race fans, don't forget Rumble by the River 40, the Wabam DirtKings Late Model Touring Series, presented by Herco and Stone Machinery at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. $5,000 to win for the DirtKings Tour Late Models, but you will also see green flag action from the KevcoRacing.com USRA Modifieds, the Buffalo Saloon USRA Late Models, the Centerville Welding and Repair USRA Stock Cars, the JP's Kitchen and Pub USRA B-Mods, and the Horman's HVAC USRA Hobby Stocks. Hope to see you at Mississippi Thunder Speedway for the Rumble by the River 40.
Tune in next week for all the dirt from Mississippi Thunder Speedway with Thunder Talk on the WINONA Sports Network. Thanks to Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram.